This weekend is less than ideal, but I'm going anyway. I've had this weekend planned to go camping for about a month now, and the forecast on the weather changed about a week ago and said that we were going to get freezing rain, up to an inch of freezing rain, and something like north of 12 inches of snow. That amount of freezing rain is no joke, and 12 inches of snow, while it's not unheard of in this part of the country, it is a good amount. It's a good amount of snow. It's enough that people start having issues getting around and stuff. The road crews have a hard time clearing it, stuff like that. It's definitely nothing to, dismiss as nothing, but it's not unheard of. The other thing that has been increasingly talked about is the cold we're gonna get. This cold front is pushing down from the Arctic, and we're calling to get about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, potentially. And wind chills supposedly can be down in the -40. That is dangerous. It can be dangerous if you're not prepared. We're all about preparedness here. We're all about working smart, doing things smart. So we're going to put it to the test. See what works, see what doesn't work. So when we get to camp, we want to check which way the weather's coming from and just look at where we're facing. So right now, make sure you hold the compass level and get a good compass. Don't get a cheap compass, get a good one. That's north. So the north and east would be this way. So anything that's going to be blowing is going to be blowing from that way. The storm's going to be coming from that way. The wind's going to be coming from that way. We can position ourselves according to the fire on the side that we can block the wind and not blow the fire into the vehicle. So we don't want to be camping over to this side, even though it looks like it's open and nice. Probably want to be camping more where you're at over here. These are good, strong trees here. I'm not worried about those. They're alive. That's one good thing about the evergreen style of tree, that it's alive. But there are some trees that maybe concern me. So this fellow right here, yep, that one right there, it looks like it might be dead. But it's leaning off that way, and the wind's gonna be blowing that way. So we should be more worried about trees on this side maybe blowing into us. And I don't see anything that concerns me. Everything's alive, everything's good, and we've got a path directly out. So there's not gonna be a bunch of shuffling once we get camps tore down. All right, let's talk about this real quick. You notice I have a lot of blankets. I also have a diesel heater. It's important that you don't rely solely on the diesel heater. They're great. Love a diesel heater. If it goes out and you're out here in the middle of the night, you could be in some deep trouble. So make sure that you have enough reliable ways of heating yourself. And the best ways are ways that don't take electricity or fuel. All it takes is for you to be alive and under enough covers. So do that. Bring blankets. I know this is one of the fancier diesel heaters. I only got it recently because I broke my other one. I'm being stupid. Talk about that another time, I guess. Ask me in the comments and I'll tell you. It's funny. Make sure that you put the right amount of anti-gel for these diesel heaters, because your diesel will just gel up and you don't end up having a diesel heater. Even though everything is fine, you just didn't put anti-gel in the diesel. So when it gets cold, it basically turns into a slushy and your diesel heater doesn't work. One other thing to think about is when you put the anti-gel and the proper mixture into the diesel heater, before you come out, run it. You make sure that it's gonna run. And also you'll get that anti-gel that's in the diesel all the way through all the lines, not just in the tank. Stuff to think about. All right, so let's process some of this wood down. It's gonna get cold tonight. This time tomorrow it's just gonna be a winter wonderland. So I wanna make sure that I don't have to go off in the woods or whatever looking for stuff. I don't have to sit out here freezing trying to get the fire going. I'm gonna have everything processed ready to go. And then we can get this fire going. I need to clear out this fire pit. But first I'm going to just start cutting up some stuff into smaller bits. We don't want a big old huge fire. We wanted a good hot fire. Pre-made stuff. Nice. Sometimes your chainsaw will mess up. This is fixable, but it's a perfect time to show an example of why you want to bring analog backups. This could break. This battery could die. Even if I can charge it, the battery could go bad. This whole thing could fry. In the event the chain breaks, whatever chainsaw fails you, you should have other methods of cutting your wood. Now, you can't process big, huge logs like this with this because you'll be tired. There are some that you can, big, huge ones, and you don't have to spend all the money in the world. This is a Corona. Another good one I would highly recommend is a Baco Laplander. Silkies are nice, but they're real expensive. So in the event that your chainsaw fails, you should have analog backups. And also, even if your chainsaw doesn't fail, maybe get some practice. Those are the things you want, analog things like a saw. But you should also know how to fix things if you can. So if this chain popped off, I can fix that, which I'm gonna do that right now. Safety first, make sure you lock the chain. If I switch wood from this position and I miss, the axe will go somewhere I don't want it to go. They could hurt me. If I split from the kneeling position and I miss, I'm gonna hit the dirt. It's a lot better than your legs. You start bleeding to death pretty quick from a leg injury. It's already getting cold. It's not even dark yet. It's warm over there. It's warm over there by the fire, but when that wind comes through, it just steals the heat right off the fire and takes it somewhere else. Any heat from convection, any heat from basically any heat coming off the fire other than radiant heat is gone. I got my little cheap burner. It packs away good. I mean, I'd love a Jetboil, but they're expensive, and this thing works just fine. It's kind of the same design, so anyhow. It's gonna be a good night tonight. We haven't even got into the snow yet. That's the exciting part. And this is all in preparation for that. You gotta prepare. It's one of the pillars of the channel, is preparing. Got some soup in there. I don't know if you can see that. Got some good soup. Good soup. That's a hot fire. It's gonna be good. Trying to burn all that cedar to get the bed of coals good, and I stacked the rocks a little bit closer to get that firing like right where I need it. Get these rocks nice and hot, and get a good bed of coals going. Get nice and warm out here. You know, I don't need it to sleep, but it's a good skill to have. And also, I don't want to go and be in there for forever. It's going to be cold tomorrow too. So having that bed of coals in there, that'll last a good while. That would probably annoy my wife a lot. But she's not here right now. She's safe at home with the heater and the electricity, and that makes me happy. The fire's warm. I made some hot chocolate and burned my tongue immediately. And so it tastes good. As good as it can with a burnt tongue. But I'm warm. I'm good. I have a beanie I can put on. I have some underlayers that I can put on. I've got other pants I've got plenty of warm clothes. And so that's just what we have to do if if I couldn't get a fire going or I didn't have any other way of heating myself, I would be able to stay warm just by some good clothes and blankets. But what I'm going to do now is probably just sit here and drink my hot coffee or hot chocolate, and probably listen to some music, maybe not, a little of both, and then maybe read my Bible, go to bed. By the time that I will wake up in the morning, it will be snow on the ground. It's supposed to come through at midnight, from what I understand, last I heard. So, not much else to say. I'm going to sit here and stay toasty, keep this fire going, and then turn in. So, see you in the morning. Good morning. Slept all right. Diesel heater stayed working all night, so that's good. I have to pee really bad, but I've been holding out. I'm sure you guys know how that can be. So I did end up putting the water jug in here so it wouldn't freeze. It's supposed to be like single digits today and last night, so I put it in here so it wouldn't freeze. I think that was a smart idea. I can filter water from the creek, but it would just freeze in the filter probably. So that's good. Only thing is that water was cold when it came in here, so it made it take forever to warm up this tent. So that's something that I'll have to think about next time. It's supposed to have snowed last night, so nice. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty cold. Probably gonna throw on this beanie. So the snow packed up on that and it folded it in. It's not a huge problem, but so maybe whenever it snows like this, I'll just leave that down because you don't have to put it up. And so we're learning. It's still dry, so we should be able to get a fire going. That tinder will light because of the coals are still up underneath. There's a little fire going down there now. There she goes. Down here in the south, they talk about just a little bit of snow here in Arkansas. Everybody freaks out. You know, they make it out to be the end of the world, and this is probably, yeah, up 4 inches of snow. I don't recommend doing it on a day that it's going to be 0 outside, but you got to go snow camping. It's beautiful. This happened. So that's pretty legit ice. So I think it ran onto the windshield. So I have a pretty substantial icing issue. It's not the end of the world, but it is one thing that makes a rooftop tent not always the best in the snow, I suppose. Everything else turned out good, but that's not good. Another issue is that my Bluetti is just about dead, which means no diesel heater tonight, or it'll die. I could try to charge it today, but there's no sun for solar, and if I want to charge it off the vehicle, I cannot because of this. It's flashing temperature alert. So it's just not going to charge because it's too cold. Probably need to keep this in the tent when I'm sleeping in this temperature. That would be the smart thing to do. The icing, there's not much I can do about that. To be honest with you, there's not much I can do about that. I think the reason why I did so bad was because of the fact that the diesel heater was, the way it goes into the inside, it was pointing at that corner, heating it up enough that it was melting. So definitely something that needs changed there is how I put that heater in there. The chair, I'm going to change my chair from this big kind of camp chair, which is great when I'm taking the wife or we're going to like a kayak trip or anything, like where we're just going to hang out and relax. But when I go on my me trips, I usually don't do a lot of sitting. And so that's one thing. But also in the winter, that chair just gets covered in snow. And so if you're sitting on it, even though you're sitting on it, the spots that are not being sat on just get covered in snow, and then they end up getting melted enough that your butt gets wet. I didn't have that happen to me, but I just noticed it. It was going to happen. So I need to get just a little simple camp chair. It'll save space in the Jeep. That's definite. I didn't even have to use a refrigerator. So maybe a bigger Bluetti would be good because it will discharge when it's cold, but it will not charge when it's cold. So that's something to consider. Technically, I could run the diesel heater, warm up the Bluetti, charge the Bluetti, run the diesel heater tonight, and it's kind of, they're giving each other a helping hand. But I'm sure my wife's freaking out. I'm having a good time out here. I'm probably going to relax for a little bit, and then we're going to head on out and get packed up.